Todd Kubanek forever changed the way the U.S. military stores weapons. His company, Securing, is turning the gun-safe industry upside down. Now Tom is on a mission to find other innovators, risk-takers, disruptors, and groundbreakers who are driving change and moving our industry forward. This is Agents of Change.
Do you know how far you can accurately and ethically shoot a big game animal? Determining your effective range can be a hassle, and nobody wants to make a bad hit. Dave Howard makes a target that makes this easy. But first, if you're a big game hunter, no doubt you've used a puffer bottle to determine wind direction. We found a clever new electronic wind indicator that obsoletes these old puffer bottles. It's called Cirrus, and it uses vapor.
It's summertime in Texas, isn't it?
So let me see what this thing is doing, because right now I'm like almost feeling breeze.
Yeah, I feel it just barely hitting the side of us, and sure enough, it just shows you exactly.
That's showing a lot more than I'm feeling.
We're in the great state of Texas today with Jim and Jeff from Cirrus Outdoors, and we're going to learn about a new technology and advances in scent detection and or prevention, depending on what side of the barrel you're on. Guys, tell me about the product. Walk me through. This is fast. I did a little bit of reading on it, and I'm going like, this sounds really cool. And then I saw it, and I'm going, oh, I get it now.
Yeah, of course. Well, we started out in the wind indication side of things. Right. We wanted to change a category forever. People that check the wind in a big game hunting situation or predator hunting, things like that. Of course, in any hunting aspect, knowing the wind is most critical.
Show me how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a perfect situation, and we're inside here in this awesome cabin.
Right. It feels like there's no wind in here.
It really feels like there's nothing moving in here. But when you hold this power button down and you drive air through it, what we're doing is we're creating a vapor that comes out that will move on the slightest wind and thermal. So as you can see in here, the wind is actually kind of moving towards us. It's really kind of elevating too. So there's some kind of moving up from
it's coming,
up in that direction there.
Yeah.
So it just moves on the slightest wind and thermals. That's why we named it Cirrus Outdoors, like a cirrus cloud.
Right.
That moves on the slightest wind and thermals.
Now, what are you using to generate the smoke?
It's a vegetable glycerin.
Okay.
That's inside the cartridge itself. And there's a heating element here with the black button.
Now, how long does a cartridge last?
It will last up to 1,500 puffs.
Okay, so it lasts quite a while.
Absolutely, it's going to last a while.
So, but it is if I own this unit, then I have a cartridge. I would eventually, after several years, many years,
depending how you use the product,
I would then just simply order a replacement cartridge.
Right. Yes, we designed it to last a long time. We didn't want you to run out in the field.
Right, I get it. So it's the same. Basically, it's the same type of process used for generating like theatrical smoke, because that's an oil-based.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly right.
Now, does the smell of the smoke affect game?
Well, I think anytime you do anything in the woods, animals' noses are their number one key to survival, right? Mm-hmm. So anytime you're using anything artificial, if it's downwind, the animal's going to detect it.
Right.
It's going to also detect you. It's going to detect your boots and everything else that's involved. Okay. So that was the whole premise behind using a Cirrus, because this thing will emit this vapor that will move on the downwind side. Of course, anything downwind of you has already got you.
Right.
Now,
I got you. So this is telling you that your direction of successful hunt is going to be.
Yeah. I always when we're talking about this to people that don't know what Cirrus is and how it's used, I always try to paint a picture of like an elk hunting situation. You get up in those mountains. There's thermal rises. There's air is moving up. Air is moving down. Undetectable air, you hit the Cirrus and you can see it's right in your face, it's behind you. So as we're hunting elk and moving through that type of country, what else is really cool is you can emit this puff of wind indication without a whole lot of movement. You take powder, you got to puff it, you're shaking it up there, the bottle's half empty by the time you get up to the mountain. You got this really long lasting thing.
If you've got this on your body,
absolutely.
You're just pulling it off.
You're barely moving it.
This actually could determine my path, especially in that type of scenario where things are moving all different directions. You'd never know that.
No doubt. Like down here in Texas, down here in Texas, we do a lot of hog hunting.
Yeah.
We do a lot of spot stock hunting. We want to go chase pigs with our bows and things like that. We call it the drunken sailor walk. You know, you start zigzagging across this field, and if you get the wind to just barely tip on these dead calm nights, the wind's just barely moving, we hook away all the way around that field and come in from the opposite side, so we're not just blindly walking down through a wide open field and getting busted.
Now, I know there's a lot more to this than just a scent device. Let's talk about some of the other features. When you purchase this, what else are you getting?
Jim came up with the idea, brought it to my technology development company. We thought it was a spectacular idea. So we started with Gen 1 with just the wind indicator part.
Right.
Well, then we thought, what else can we do to this device? So it'll take things out of the pack that guys are taking in the woods with them, and you can have a multi-functional device that does a lot of different things. So we added LED lights. So if you need an extra flashlight to walk through the woods, emergency light for the predator hunters, not to disturb the predators.
So if you're nighttime, if we're at night, the red light is nobody's not going to light you up.
Absolutely.
But still give you the detection.
And you're not going to spook the game at that point.
Right. The red lights are really cool, especially in an early morning or low condition set. A lot of pop-up hunters, right? Guys sitting in a pop-up blind. It's dark in there. You can hit that right up against the thing. The cool thing about this with the vapor is it works right through your screen on your pop-up blinds. You don't have anything to deter it. You can't puff powder through a pop-up blind. It would just stick to the screen.
Okay, so even my direction walking in can be determined.
That's right.
Because I know I've blown my hunt walking in with a bow.
For sure.
Because I've got cameras that back me up that, I really pushed it, I didn't even realize
a true trophy hunter for whitetail, especially whitetail guys that are so adamant about, scent control, knowing the wind, their clothing, their equipment. The Cirrus really, truly helps people become more successful.
Especially if you're I'm not that advanced. I'm just not. It's just I've got my tree stands up. I kind of walk in and just.
With the Cirrus unit, no joking aside, even if you get those 2 days a year and you're in the same tree stand, whether the wind's blowing this way or that way, at least gives you the knowledge that when I hit this thing, that wind is going directly to this tree. That gives me knowledge now that I'm going to stop this deer prior for him to come walking in my perfect little sweet spot. I'm going to get turned around because I know this deer's going to, if he's going to keep coming,
once
he's got me.
Once he busts that line, he's gone.
So once he busts the line, this thing keeps telling me over and over in a non-windy set, I'm able to get turned around, stop him this direction. It's a really cool tool if you just utilize all the features.
This thing is a Swiss Army knife of other features.
Yeah, it is. We've got a huge battery in here, and this unit actually has the ability to charge portable electronic devices as well. So when we're sitting in the blind, you can plug right into the bottom of this Pro Cirrus and charge your phones up. People use them to charge thermal scopes at night, especially out coyote hunting, e-collars, things like that. Really cool. And with the big battery life has led to new and great features that include a built-in SD card reader, which is really crazy. It gets into a whole nother scope of things with the Cirrus.
That's what you were doing.
And the way it works is you just pull a game camera card out of the camera, right there in the field. You stick it in the bottom of the Pro Cirrus. We have a free app available on iTunes and Android on the Play Store. And you simply go out and you can check your thumbnails.
Let's go pull some images. I really want to see how this works.
There you go. So just throw it in there and grab your
So once the card goes in, that turns on the
So you hit this power button right here.
Yep.
And then once you get your Wi-Fi signal, simply go up to
Wi-Fi.
Just confirm. There it goes. It automatically connects to you once you get it set up.
Yep.
And then go out to that app, and you're going to just hit View from SD card, and it's as simple as that. And your thumbnails will just start to come through there, and there you go.
This is not downloading them. This is just transferring.
All we're doing is viewing. Wow, there's a lot of images on here.
Yeah, I was anxious to see look at that buck that they have in here.
So now I'm downloading that image.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my glass on. So that's a good deer.
That's a big deer.
This is just like Jeff said. These are simple thumbnails. They're just looking at a
Right.
snapshot of what's on this card right now. And if you want to download them all to your phone, you can, or just go through them and save the
So
ones
I
you
can
want.
just tag the ones I want to pull.
Right.
There's another nice one, so I just tap it.
Yep.
Oh, but you just tap it once and it downloads it.
Exactly.
So I got
Then
two.
at that point you can save it, and
Right.
that will save it to your Pro Cirrus folder.
So I got that.
That would stay on your phone at that point.
So that's right here.
Yep. You just hit
tap it.
download and it says save success, and that's
Okay,
it.
so
Now it's
now-
on your, there you go. So you allow access to your photos.
Wow,
Right there,
access
the
to
middle
your
one.
photos, yep.
There you go. Now it's saved it to your phone.
That's really cool. That is so cool. I came into this thinking, okay, a wind indicator. And this thing is fascinating, and it's absolutely innovative in what it does. But guys, it's not just a wind indicator. It does a lot more. Thank you so much for coming out. I'm really excited to use this hunting season.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having us here.
Coming up next, a target system that'll help you determine your effective range. Determinator Targets allows you to quickly and easily determine your effective range. Dave, it's great to meet you.
Nice to meet you also, Tom.
This is really fascinating because when I got the call, like Determinator Targets, and I had a conversation, and I already thought about it like, wow, I go to the range, set up on a bench, 100 yards, I'm gonna put a half-inch group. Okay, so you've got a targeting system that'll tell me that.
Yes, it does.
So walk me through this.
So let me show you one of our targets.
Okay.
This is our target for a white-tailed deer.
Okay.
So we based it on the heart and lungs is the vital. So this dark circle is the vital of a white-tailed deer at 100 yards.
Okay.
This second ring is that same vital size at 200 yards as seen at 100.
Okay.
The third ring is the same vital at 300 yards as seen at 100. So you shoot at this 5 times from a hunting position, not off the bench with a lead sled or a bag, but from a real hunting position, and this will tell you your effective range. How far can you really shoot and expect an ethical one-shot humane kill, because it's going to tell you if you're going to hit that animal in its vitals. And we think it's essential for new hunters, seasoned hunters, to know their effective range for every animal they're hunting.
I understand that there's outfitters and guides now using these targets
Yes.
with their guests.
Yes, so we first started out where guides would have you, as you came into their camp, they would have you shoot the target for the animal you were going to hunt. And whatever your shots dictated that distance, they would tell the guide, oh, you're guiding Dave today, and no matter what Dave says, he's only good to 300 yards.
Okay. So the fact that you stated this is a white-tailed deer target, I'm assuming that you have different targets for different animals because they have different size, or you know, what is it called, a critical shot, kill shot?
Right. The vital says, so what we have, first of all, what's cool about this, the white-tailed deer, 80% of all hunting licenses in America are for a white-tailed deer.
That's what I hunt almost exclusively.
Exactly. But we have 8 other species. We start at coyote and go up to moose.
Okay.
Okay? And so this vital ring and the staggered rings included in it are specific for that animal. Just an illustration, hold that for me.
Yeah.
See the difference between a white-tailed deer and a mule deer? How much bigger that is?
Yeah.
And even the size of the staggered rings are different. This 200-yard ring is larger than the 200-yard ring.
Because you've got a bigger vital organ.
Absolutely.
Bigger package.
So for a mule deer, same size as a bighorn sheep, a
Okay.
doll sheep, or a stone sheep.
Okay, so you've got
So
your
if you're-
species laid out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So our 8 targets cover 27 big game animals.
Wow.
Sponsored by Security, the leader in military weapon storage, armory design, and customizable gun safes you could store anywhere in your house.
Now I've got another thought with this. You know, when my kids got into hunting, they're all excited and eager. You could use this as the you know, that's the requirement to go hunting, right? If you're teaching a youngster to shoot, you know, I think a whitetail, hitting this at 100 yards may be a challenge. But now he's got a goal, doesn't he?
Yes. And what we find, parents love this. Dad doesn't have to tell them, mom doesn't have to tell them they're not ready to go hunting. The kids get it.
Right.
If they can't keep their bullets in this ring, they aren't ready to go.
Right.
So they practice.
Yeah, it's interesting because it does at the simplest level, it gives you a simple set of goals. I'm a big believer in the simplest solutions are the ones that withstand the test of time. What you created is really simple.
You shoot a lot, and so one of the things that we really talk about is our staggered ring process is different than most targets.
Yeah.
What does a 7 ring on an NRA target tell you? Nothing.
No idea.
Our rings, this staggered ring system will tell you within each of those rings a real hunt-specific set of knowledge for you personally. It will tell you how far you can shoot, and nothing makes it easier than our target.
Right.
We have just developed the better mousetrap with our staggered ring design that says, here's what your shots mean for the gun and the ammo you're using.
Yeah, it really is a no BS reality check.
Absolutely.
Again, I think I'm a pretty good shot. Now it's cold today, and I haven't shot in 4 months. So if I was going to go hunting today, let's find out what my distance is.
You bet.
I bet it's not as far as I
and
think.
Understand it's brutal. Okay.
I'm kind of getting concerned now. I'm thinking
No,
am I going to be on paper?
No, you're going to impress us all. We know that. But and two, today I hear you're going to shoot a gun you never shot before.
That's correct.
And that always impacts our ability
Oh,
to.
it does. It does.
Okay.
Well, it's time for the rubber to meet the road. Let's see what my effective range is today. All right, guys, range is hot. All right, so that's 5 shots. So now we're going to simulate a hunting position.
Right. You shot 5 times from a rest. Let's go and use one of the standard hunting positions you would use.
I'm going to try sitting because I think at this range with this gun standing, I think I'd embarrass myself.
I think sitting's a great position.
Let's set this up. We're going to be
Okay, you're
sitting.
gonna set that up for sitting. I'm going to put your ammo here.
With the cold temps,
Yeah, that's hard.
I'm having a
and
hard-
a different gun.
it was moving quite a bit.
Most people are only good 50 to 80 yards standing
Yeah, that's
without any support.
okay. So what's another shooting position that you would see people in?
Well, kneeling.
Yep. All right, so let's try kneeling because when I'm out, that's quite often. when
That's
you're
my
walking.
favorite hunting position because it's easy to go from when you're walking in the woods.
Yep.
It's easy to drop down to a kneeling position. 9 o'clock, inch and a half to the left.
That's kind of a tug, a little bit. I can feel it. Let's go down range and
Let's see how we did.
let's see how humbled I am.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Let's see what we have.
This is from the bench,
From the bench.
and
No wonder I couldn't see these two. They were right dab in the middle.
well, I'm gonna.
It's a fair grouping, especially
Yeah.
with a gun you've never shot, with ammo that we don't know if it's
Right.
matched with the gun.
Yeah, because normal from 100 yards from me, I should be able to. I should
Right.
be well within an inch group.
Okay.
And now this is the sitting position,
Sitting position.
which I was unsupported, and I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised those are as tight as they were because I really was struggling to get it done.
And you had a nice vertical line. You had this outlier, and that just.
Well, that's the pull. Remember, when I said I pulled.
Exactly.
And then this was kneeling,
Kneeling.
but I'm using the sling now
sling.
as a brace, and that just tells me from a kneeling position, I can shoot at 100 yards. This is fascinating. It's a little humbling. I kind of think I'd shoot better, but you've covered me. Not my rifle, cold day. You've given me all the
I've
excuses.
given you all the reasons. We all need them.
Dave, thank you very much for coming out. It's I got to tell you something. This is thinking outside the box. It's pretty cool.
Thank you. We think it's innovative. We think it's disruptive. We appreciate your time, and we know you're going to use this concept and enjoy it in the future.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much.
Absolutely. And now it's time for TAC Tips with Gary Melton, former Green Beret sniper team leader, one of America's top firearms instructors.
Hey folks, Gary here with Paramount Tactical Solutions. So I remember being in the military in the early 2000s when they first started integrating red dot sights into the arsenal. And I also remember at the time, there's lots of the old timers, as we called them, that refused to use those. You know, they had the mentality, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and they were concerned about reliability and durability, and probably rightfully so. But I can tell you, it wasn't after a week or two during the initial push into Iraq that you saw all those old timers switching over those, because the advantage of those in most conditions is just unquestionable. Well, until about a year ago, I was one of those old timers, or at least a holdout when it came to red dot sights and handguns. And it wasn't a matter of their advantages. Clearly they have them, which is why you see every top level competitive shooter out there using them. My biggest concern was durability and reliability, because until a few years ago, a lot of these had a very short battery life. It was hard to change the batteries. A lot of them were made out of plastic. That has completely changed. Now the latest generation for red dot sights for handguns, whether we're talking about full-size guns or even concealed carry guns, they're machined out of one piece of aluminum or titanium, just like this model. They give you over 50,000 hours of battery life, and then some of them are even supplemented by solar power as well. That's changing the battery once every 5 years. They have many different reticles that you can choose from. You can get backup iron sights if you're concerned about that. And many, like this particular optic, has a rear sight built into it. So you always have those iron sights to fall back on. And I can tell you from working with training clients, people that are really struggling to focus on that front sight, or maybe they've gotten a little older and their eyesight isn't what it used to be, folks, these can be a real game changer. And it really does help improve their shooting performance overall, or get their shooting performance back to where it was before they started having eyesight issues. The other real advantage the red dot sight offers is those low light situations. You can definitely pick up that bright reticle much faster than you ever could in iron sight. And generally speaking, target acquisition with a red dot sight is going to be much quicker. It does take some training, it does take some repetitions, especially if you're coming from iron sights. There is a transition period, but if you work through it and you do some training, you'll see that your performance definitely improves compared to those iron sights. So if you're an old timer, or maybe just a holdout like me, and you were hesitant to use a red dot sight on your handgun, maybe it's time to take another look at how much technology has really changed and how much durability and reliability have really improved over the last couple of years. Because if you're not evolving, you're going extinct. And that's your tactical tip of the day.
If you'd like to learn more about the products and people you've seen, scan the QR code on your screen. You'll go to the Agents of Change website. You'll also have the opportunity to share information with us. We're always looking for new innovative people and products.